Unit 12 practice test part 4 on question number 18. Number 18 says how many terms are in the sequence. Here is your sequence. So basically it stops at 1,725. So I basically want to figure out what is the n for this particular a sub n. So I need to know the rule, and I'm going to say a sub n equals a sub 1, there's my a sub 1, 5 plus n minus 1, that's what I'm trying to figure out, times d. You can see you add 5 to all of these for your d. So to simplify this down, this comes out to be just 5n when you simplify everything out. So now the question is, what is the n for 1,725? So I'm going to plug that into the formula because it's an a sub n, and I'm going to figure out what its n is. So I'm just going to divide by 5 by solving for n, and that comes out to be 345. Okay? And that's how many terms there are in the sequence. 19. 19, they want us to find how many terms there are plus the sum. Now you got to be careful here. We're starting from 3, not from 8. We're starting from the third term in the sequence. Okay. So basically this is still arrow because there's no n's in the powers and the exponents. So we're still using this. We just got to find everything. Okay. Now when I say a sub 1 in the formula, I'm really talking about the first term in this particular series. So it's going to be actually a sub 3 for this first one, and this is going to be a sub 8. So let's find part 1 of the question is how many terms there are. So we do the top one minus the bottom one, so that's 5, plus 1, so that's 6. So n equals 6. That's the first part of your question. And we got to find what is a sub 3, and that's when n equals 3, right? And so that's going to be negative 2 times 3 plus 7 gives us negative 6 plus 7 gives us 1. So a sub 3 equals 1. So now I can start, I'm going to kind of separate this here and start filling in my formula. S sub n equals 6 over 2 times 1 plus, and let's find the last one, which is a sub 8. And that is when the n equals 8. And that equals negative 2 times 8 plus 7. That is negative 16 plus 7. That gives me negative 9. We get S sub n equals 3 times negative 8. And S sub n equals negative 24. On to number 20. Okay. Number 20 says a sub 27 equals 263, d equals negative 11. What is the rule for the nth term? So this is a d, so we're not using geo, we're using arrow, and we're basically going to say, let's see here, 263. Okay. Well, actually, let's hold off on that. Sorry. Let's let me explain what we're going to do first. First, we're going to plug this in. So we are going to write 263 here, but what we're trying to solve for is a sub 1. We don't have a sub 1. That's what we need. Okay. So we have an a sub 27, and that's true when n equals 27. So keep that in mind that these go together. We have a d, so we need an a sub 1. That's what we need. So we're going to say 263 equals a sub 1 plus n, which we know is 27, minus 1 times the d. Right? We know everything except a sub 1, and we need to write the rule. We need a sub 1. So this is going to be multiplied here. So we're looking at 263 equals a sub 1 plus 26 times negative 11. So 26 times 11. 26 times 11 is 286. So we got 263 equals a1 minus 286. We're going to add 286 to both sides. Okay, and that gives us plus 263. gives us 549 equals a sub 1. Alright, so now I can actually create the rule, and that's going to be a sub n equals 549, because that's a sub 1, plus n minus 1, and then d is negative 11. Okay, I'm going to simplify that down a little bit, and I'm going to say 549 minus 11n plus 11, and then a sub n equals negative 11n plus 560, and that is our general rule. 21. 21 says, given an algebraic sequence in which, arithmetic sequence in which a sub 5 equals 5 and a sub 15 equals 30, find d, a sub 1, and a sub n. Well, they want us to basically create the rule, because they want all those pieces. Well, the problem is I need a sub 1 and d to do that, and they don't give them to me. So I basically know this. I know a sub 5 equals 5, and that's true when n equals 5. Okay. I know that a sub 15 equals 30, and that's true when n equals 15. Okay. So that's what I know, right? Well, I can use this by plugging these into the arithmetic sequence and say 5, because that's a sub n, it's for this a sub n, equals a sub 1 plus 5 minus 1 d. Okay. And over here I can say pretty much the same thing with the other information. Okay. And you see how I don't have a sub 1, I don't have d, that's in the question. But I'm going to simplify this down a little bit, and you can see what's going to happen here, hopefully, that I'm going to have two equations with two unknowns, and I have a system of equations and thus I can solve. So I'm going to go ahead and solve for a sub 1 and then plug it into this one. So I'm going to subtract 4d to both sides, and I'm basically looking at a sub 1 equals negative 4d plus 5, and I'm going to plug that in right there and say 30 equals negative 4d plus 5 plus 14d. Combine my like terms, and I'm looking at equals 10d plus 5. Subtract 5 to both sides, and then divide by 10, and d equals 25 divided by 10. That should just move our decimal place over to 2.5. So that's d. So how do I find a? Plug back in. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to plug it right there, and I'm going to say a sub 1 equals negative 4 times 2.5 plus 5. 2.5 times 4, that should get us back to 10. Negative plus 5, and a sub 1 equals negative 5. Okay, and so now I've got everything I need here. I'm going to kind of just squeeze it down here. I'm going to let you guys simplify it on your own. A sub 1 is negative 5 plus n minus 1 d. So simplify that out, and that would be your actual answer. Okay, you have to create a system of equations. On to number 22. Number 22 says, Sally has taken a job with a starting salary of $17,000 and annual raises of $615. Find the general rule. Using the general rule, find her salary during her 10th year on the job. Well, that is a sub 1. Her raises are always $615, so that's our D. Okay, that doesn't change. And since we're always adding 615, this is arrow again. And so we're basically looking at a sub n equals this. A sub 1 plus n minus 1 d. So let's simplify this down. Let's look at 1,000 or 17,300 plus 615n minus 615. Combining like terms, 615n and then 17,300 minus 615 equals plus 16685. Okay, so that's the general rule or the equation, a sub n. And so we want to know during the 10th year. Okay, so during the 10th year means a sub 10. We've got to find a sub 10. Okay, so that's what they want. So a sub 10 is going to translate to a sub n. What is the a sub n for a sub 10? 615 times 10 plus that. And we're looking at 615 times 10 moves our decimal point over again. So we're basically looking at a sub n equals 6150 plus 16685. We'll add those up real quickly. 6150 plus 1685, and that equals this is actually not a sub n but a sub 10, 22835.